In the last episode, Joseph's brothers, consumed by jealousy over his dreams and his father's favoritism, sold him to traders heading to Egypt. They deceived Jacob with Joseph's bloodied robe, and Jacob mourned, believing his beloved son was dead. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard. Now Joseph begins his life in Egypt. The Lord is with Joseph, and he prospers. He lives in the house of his Egyptian master. Potiphar sees that the Lord is with him and that the Lord gives him success in everything he does. Joseph finds favor in his eyes and becomes his attendant. Potiphar puts him in charge of his household and entrusts to his care everything he owns. From the time Potiphar puts Joseph in charge, the Lord blesses his household for Joseph's sake. The blessing of the Lord is on everything Potiphar has, both in the house and in the field. Potiphar leaves everything he has in Joseph's care. He concerns himself with nothing except the food he eats. Joseph is well-built and handsome, and after a while his master's wife takes notice of him. "Come to bed with me," she says. But Joseph refuses. "With me in charge, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" Though she speaks to Joseph day after day, he refuses to go to bed with her or even be with her. One day, Joseph goes into the house to attend to his duties. None of the household servants are inside. She catches him by his cloak and says, "Come to bed with me." He leaves his cloak in her hand and runs out of the house. When she sees that he has left his cloak and fled, she calls her household servants. "Look, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house." She keeps his cloak until Potiphar comes home. Then she tells him the same story. When his master hears what she says, he burns with anger. He takes Joseph and puts him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners are confined. But while Joseph is there in prison, the Lord is with him. He shows him kindness and grants him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. The warden puts Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison. He is made responsible for all that is done there. The warden pays no attention to anything under Joseph's care because the Lord is with Joseph and gives him success in whatever he does. Sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offend their master. Pharaoh is angry and puts them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph is confined. The captain of the guard assigns Joseph to attend them, and he serves them. After they have been in custody for some time, both men have dreams on the same night. Their dreams have meanings of their own. When Joseph comes to them the next morning, he sees that they are dejected. He asks, "Why do you look so sad today?" "We both had dreams," they answer, "but there is no one to interpret them." Joseph says, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." The chief cupbearer tells his dream first. "In my dream, I saw a vine in front of me. On the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand." Joseph says, "This is what it means. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon." The chief baker sees that Joseph has given a favorable interpretation. So he says, "I too had a dream. On my head were 3 baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head. Joseph answers, "This is what it means. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and impale your body on a pole, and the birds will eat away your flesh. The 3rd day is Pharaoh's birthday, and he gives a feast for all his officials. He lifts up the heads of the chief cupbearer and the chief baker in the presence of his officials. He restores the chief cupbearer to his position so that he once again puts the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he impales the chief baker just as Joseph had said. The chief cupbearer, however, does not remember Joseph. He forgets him. 2 full years pass. Joseph remains in prison, forgotten by the man he helped, waiting for deliverance that seems to never come. But God has not forgotten. Thank you for listening to this episode about Joseph in Egypt. If this retelling of Genesis chapters 39 through 41 stirred something in you, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with others. In the next episode, Pharaoh will have dreams that no one can interpret. Joseph will be summoned from the dungeon, and his rise to power will begin.